in the heart of the American Revolution, mind the sound of his musket, raising flags and promise of freedom. There is a story that very few truly see, the story of a man who did not fight for glory, not for a nation, but for the hope of protecting what he loved, a man named Connor Kenway, or as his people knew him, sorry, I can't pronounce his name, a warrior born in between two worlds and manipulated by both. Connor never had the chance to choose his destiny. As a child, all he knew was his village, quiet, communal, isolated from colonial chaos, a place where life followed tradition, not ambition, But what looks like protection is sometimes just ignorance, careful, persevered. No one tells him who his father is. No one explains his politics beyond the trees. No one prepares him for a world building not on justice, but on negotiation, power, and combination. Connor grows up believing is a single truth because it's the only truth he allowed to know. And that is how the most effective manipulations begins. Not with lies, but with silence. When the village burns and Connor's mother dies in the flames, he's not giving answers, he is giving a direction, a name, face, a target. Charles Lee. Grief does not come with clarity, it comes with vulnerability. And when someone loses everything, it becomes painful, easy to give their pain whatever you want. The tragedy doesn't just break Connor, it pains him. His race becomes purpose, his pain becomes motivation, and his innocence becomes a weapon, not in his hand, but in the hands of others. Well, years later, Connor meets Achilles. For the first time, someone offers him answers, training, structure, a pay forward. But Achilles is not just teaching a student, he's rebuilding a broke legacy. The assassin brotherhood is shattered, its ideas weakened, its influence fading. And Connor is perfect. Young, angry, morally pure, Achilles trained him with a patience and with a mission. He presents the Templars as absolute evil, simplifies and complex conflict, turns ideology in certainty. Connor is not taught to question, he's taught to obey, under the illusion of choice. Without realizing it, Connor steps into a hole that was deciding long before he arrived. The revolution promised freedom, but freedom for who? Connor believes he is fighting for justice, for a future where no one will suffer, and his people did, but on the battlefield, reality reveals itself. War is not a clash of ideas, it's a negotiation of endurance, and the ones with the most power always decide the price. George Washington, the symbol of liberty, ordered the destruction of Connor village. The very people Connor is fighting for erase his people in the name of progress. Freedom for the new nation, silence for those who stood in the way. And still, Connor fights, not because he's believing in vain anymore, but because he fears what happens if he stops. When Connor finally meets his father, Hayton Kenway, he doesn't meet a monster, he meets a clarity. Hayton does not treat Connor as a symbol, tool or weapon. He speaks honestly. He's displaying the world not as it should be, but as it. For the first time, Connor sees the moral gray Achilles hid from him. The Templars are not devils. The assassins are not saints. Order and chaos have two permanent sides. Hayton offers Connor understanding, but understanding comes at a cost. To accept his father's truth would mean abandoning everything Connor built his identity on. His mother, Spain, his purpose. So the conflict between them is not hatred, it's inevitably. When Connor finally confronts Charles Lee, he does not face evil incarnate, face a man. Lee believes he is saying the columns for a collapse, believes in order, believes in control, the same certain Connor carries, just on the opposite side. In that moment, Connor understands that truth no one ever taught him. No one is villain in their own story. When Lee dies, there is no victory, only emptiness, because killing the enemy doesn't restore culture, doesn't bring justice, doesn't bring peace. It only ends a chase. When the war ends, the colony celebrates fireworks, cheers, hope, but none of it belongs to Connor. Saving lives, but not his home. protected people but not his culture, fought for a nation that would never fight for him. Conor Kenway is the treasure no one reads about, a man used by every side, here by none, a warrior whose every choice was shaped by orders. Conor's story reminds us of something unfortunately. Freedom does not begin with revolutions, nor with flags or victory. It begins with awareness, the ability to question, to see beyond ideology, to recognize manipulation, even when it wears the mask of justice. Conor fought with honor, with horror, with conviction, but he never truly chose his path. And perhaps that is greatest irony of all. The man who lost the most in the war for freedom was the one who believed in the most. Thank you for watching.